Hey guys, just a quick video. Let's talk about finding your lost anger. Many men have come to me and says, "Well, I'm just quiet. I've always been this way, and I've always been introverted, and processing things inside, which is okay." But the trouble starts where anger starts to manifest in ways that people can't reconcile to their usual self. You drive a car and you're this nicest guy, and suddenly, bang, this really deep swear words come up, and people say, "Oh, I'm ashamed. I don't even want to say what I'm saying normally when I'm driving." I say that's step one to actually reconciling yourself to yourself is to actually embody those words. That's good. But the trouble is they're misdirected words. These are probably the words that have been spoken to you when you were a boy, or that you wanted to say to your dominant, aggressive father, but you didn't have the bravery to say it. In my case, my dad stole my manhood. My dad bullied me, mostly verbally, mostly by his presence, but I was just hidden in the corner. I was cowering in his presence. And this anger that I had towards him, I could never express. And then, you accumulate things along the way, and you never learn to actually speak your mind. You never learn to say, "No, I don't agree with that. Let's do it this way. How about this?" You never learn to be upfront with how you feel. You just live inside. And you know what? There are no nice guys inside. If you tend to live inside, you're probably as darkened as I have been, and then still am in many ways. There are no nice guys in the darkness. And my goal is not to become a nice guy or to make you a nice guy. My goal is to find myself. My goal is to bring out that man who I always wanted to be, the heroic man, the strong man, the brave man, the man who is beautiful, the man who never hurt anyone, and the man who lives with purpose, with passion. If part of you is locked away in the dark, how can you be passionate about anything? Probably the deepest part about you, the most passionate, strong part, is the one that's harboring all that anger, so you can't access it. And you wonder why you don't have intimacy with your wife. You wonder why you get irritated all the time, but it's all misdirected, it's all against the wrong people. Well, let me tell you something. You've got some work to do. I've been doing this work on myself for decades now, and I've been doing this work with other people, for other people, for years now. And it's just never ending. And the amount of change that you can achieve, the change within your own personality is staggering. You wouldn't want this to stop, would you? If you keep changing like this, it's a supernatural thing. But it's actually a very spiritual thing. Because that being, the soul that is inside of you, that is tangled up in all these emotions, once you tap into the emotions, once you express, once you start punching that pillow or a punch bag or something, but this time in a directed way, then you come alive. Then you're being reborn and you don't ever want to stop. A word of caution though. Those of you who are naturally angry, who can, go and have a boxing match or whatever, what's behind that anger? If it's so readily coming up, what's behind it? It might not be anger at all, it might just be sadness. But those of us, I say us, who are like me, more introverted and more, the first emotion is often sadness or irritation, but never really anger, confrontational anger. We have to face our depression. I suffered from depression for a long time, and behind the roots of my depression were actually depressed, suppressed anger. You have to embody that child. You have to embrace that child, that young part of you that's actually depressed and it doesn't feel good. You look like a grown man who just want to eat chocolate all day, or watch porn, or watch film, whatever it is, whatever your addiction is. Or go to church, just to make yourself feel better. Go to the gym sometimes, but you might not even have the energy for that. However, from that position of weakness, and that's what I do in my life training for men. I actually work with people one-to-one, and I meet them where they are, especially if they suffer with depression, and I work with them. The best client for me is the client that comes to me from a position of weakness. Oh, I'm just feeling sluggish today. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling irritable, and I don't know what it is, but I just want to feel better. I just want to take a pill, and suddenly, or I want to go to the gym, or I want to have a cold shower. No. Even though I recommend all these things like gym and cold shower and being physical, not in that stage, because that's going to be just another mask, another layer of your addiction. If you really want to get better, from a position of sluggishness, I take you to a position of strength by just basically empowering you to fight back, empowering you to push through your depression and fight back. Finding the roots of what make you depressed. Very often it's a human face. Human face will pop up. It's probably your father's face. Could even be your father's absence, the absence of kind words. Could be your overbearing mother who bullied you physically and spiritually. She didn't allow you to develop. Well, it's time for that little child to start fighting his way out of this cocoon of suppressed energy, of mothering energy, of pulling, whatever it is that's holding you captive to that depression. You must face it. I can tell you, I base my life, I lay my life down. That's the cause I'm fighting for and against depression and against just living small. Well, I'm just like this, I'm just more sluggish, I'm not as physical, I'm not as athletic. Really? Which self are you talking about? The self that you became, or the self that you were meant to be? Because all these things apply to the self that I was for most of my life. However, the self that I'm becoming now and the self that I want to be, it's very, very attractive in many ways. He's very physical, he's very outgoing, he loves people, he smiles to people, he looks at people in the eyes, he's confident, he's strong. But that's not who I became. Even watching some of my older videos, and wow, massive portions of my true self were actually being buried under that. And you need to find that strong emotion inside. Once you find that, it has to be directed. It has to be brought out, but directed. Yes. It's time to fight the good fight. The world needs you to come alive. The world needs good men who have come alive. Most men who are good in terms of not doing evil things or wanting to stop evil things are actually passive and inefficient. And most of the men who actually have the energy, is misdirected very often. Boys grow up and they look at their father and, well, he's not really the hero that I want to be. And then on the telly, my case on the television, after I passed the stage of superheroes like Zorro and Vasilevsky, who is the Bulgarian sort of hero, number one, after I passed the stage, I knew I wasn't going to be this idealistic person. So, well, I'm a bit dark anyway, so he's the Godfather, he's the people who kill you in the dark. And the shadow side, you just feed the shadow side. But the true heroism that men want to aspire deep down is actually the perfect man. The man who are meant to be, the man who can love a woman but also fight the bad guys. Because we don't see that, because our children don't see that in us, they turn to the darker characters. Tony Soprano or Vito Corleone. All these people who at least they've got strength, at least they've got some confidence. Yeah, they might not be fighting always on the right side, but there's a sense of justice that they can give you. And a bad father, a bad mother is better than a non-existent one. Just like Hitler in Germany. It's easy to blame them now, but he's a strong man that comes in, He's coming, he can get out of this mess, and he's the father figure, and he's that role model. He's strong. Yeah, we don't want to follow that strength. So we need to reclaim the good strength. Fight the good fight.